This video was sponsored by Oil Labs, the best fragrance known to mankind. There's one thing that a man needs and one thing that a man should have. Number one is God and number two, Oil Labs. Now this fragrance is engraven in your skin and in your clothes, more potent, more stronger, the best fragrance known to mankind, which is Oil Labs. Aren't you tired of buying fragrances and as soon as you spray them on and step outside, they are lost in the wind? Contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp.
And we're rolling. Boom.
He is more valuable than a stash of cash. His shots more powerful than a fatal crash. His dash is longer than your girlfriend lash. Some might say that he's the Flash, but please give it up for Ash. Boom. And we're rolling. Welcome to the I Have a Dream podcast. I am Pops, some might say I'm Top P. These are my co-hosts, Daniel Gomez and George. Today, we have with us somebody special. He is Ash Apollon. Now, that was my little intro for him. I'm going to let him introduce himself to the viewers. So, Ash, pleasure to have you here. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the viewers.
Man,
Who is Ash Apollon?
It's definitely a pleasure for me being here. I feel, honored that you guys invited me. My name is Ash Apollon. Well, everyone calls me Ash to make it easier. I'm 32 years old, so I may look young, but I'm an old guy. So. Yeah, I've been playing professionally since 2013, so I've been going on strong for a while now. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, whatever you guys have to ask me. So here we are. Here we go.
Beautiful. And my first question to you, what was your dream growing up as a kid?
Growing up as a kid, honestly, I did not play soccer. My father was a great soccer player, though, but I lived mostly with my mom over here. And my father was at sea. He worked on a cruise ship. And growing up, I did other sports like, playing basketball, track, and all that stuff. I was always very athletic.
Okay.
But it's not till I moved to Haiti when I was like 15 that I fell in love with soccer.
Amazing.
Were you good at any of the other sports?
I was pretty good. I was good
He was OP.
track. Yeah, I was super fast. I was good at basketball. Maybe not tall enough, but yeah. Everything changed, man. That time I spent in Haiti it was just different, surreal. The way the kids approach the game, the way the people approach the game over there,
Right.
it's just completely different than what I was to here.
Okay, so we don't want to skip ahead and go into AD
Of course,
yet.
no, you're good.
Now we're gonna take it back from the beginning. Okay, so how did you got into soccer?
So, my mom wanted to move back to Haiti.
Well, real quick, before that, if we're going to take it back, where did you live before?
Well, I was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, so
yeah,
close
I was
here.
born here.
Yeah, okay,
I'll
awesome.
start there. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts. I went to Pickering Middle School in Lynn, Massachusetts, and then we moved around a little bit. I moved to New York, moved to Florida, because my dad was based out of Florida and stuff. When the ship would dock in Florida, that's when we'd be able to spend time together and stuff.
cool.
But
Okay.
he would spend most of his time at sea. So
you're 15, you go to Haiti.
I go to Haiti.
Big difference.
Big difference. I would always go to Haiti, but for a vacation for like a couple weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
It was never the same. And my parents decided, you know what, we're tired of being separated like this. Let's move to Haiti for a little bit. My dad's it has a business over there. Let's just focus on that. And they'll put me in an international school and stuff, and we'll be good. I wasn't for it, but things happen. I'm young, and my parents make the decisions, and I just had to follow at that point. So,
Do you think you were maybe better suited for it just because you had moved so much as a kid?
I feel.
I don't know what we would have done if at 15, all right, leave West Side.
Yeah. I was.
Danny, I'm living with you.
I was definitely used to the move and stuff. But at the end of the day, I love my parents, and whatever they thought was best for me, I was gonna do it. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so you get to Haiti,
I
15-ish.
get to Haiti, 15. I never played organized soccer. I don't know what's going on, but all you hear, we lived like literally like 2 minutes away from the field, and all you hear is like whistles and kids. And I would come home from school, and then kids with their balls are going like by my house to go up to training. And I had questions. I'm like, what's going on? Like every day I see at this time. And my dad's like, oh, yeah, they have a local club here. It's called Union NAC. And, yeah, they have an academy and everything. And I wanted to check it out. But my dad was known for soccer. He was a big soccer guy in Haiti. So when he took me to the team, they were like, no way, your son is going to play for us? So they thinking I'm good, you know, like, and I get there, they're like, what position you play? I'm like, I don't know, like, I've never played.
You're like point guard.
Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm fast, I'm left-footed, I know that. And they're like, okay, that's when the first time they were like, okay, we'll try you left winger. And at that time, I'm telling you, my friend, put me on the field, I'll run, but don't pass me the ball. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was just scared. I was athletic. I can run. And then my dad was shocked, and he was surprised. He's like, "How did I not ask your mom like if you were playing?" But you know, with life, he's just so preoccupied with other things, like yes, taking care of his family, being at sea, being away. So we didn't really have that where it's like your dad's really good and he gets to train you and stuff. I didn't get that, but from that point on, my dad took over, and he's like, we're going to be training every day. And within a period of 6 months, somehow, boom. And
clicked.
I was starting for the team. Yeah, so
Boom.
I think it was in me. I just had needed to unlock
That's
it.
crazy.
That's why a lot of coaches, like, I tell them that story, or some coaches that knew me from then, they're like, we can't believe it. Like, it's like you're an anomaly. You didn't play. Some people play since they're young, and they don't get as good as you are or whatever.
So one thing I've noticed listening to these, every kid starts at like 6.
Yes.
So you were 10 years behind.
I was behind. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
That is crazy.
Okay, so you started playing there. How long do you live in Haiti?
4 years. I did all my high school in Haiti is 5 years, but here is 4 years, and I did 4 and then transferred back. I came back to the U.S. It was time for me. I did 4 years. Yeah.
And where did you go when you came back?
I went to Florida, actually, to one of my uncles, because at that time both of my parents are in Haiti. So if I'm coming back, it's like I have to find families to live with, like who wants to take me in. I'm planning to go into college and all that stuff. And one of my uncles in Florida, like, is the first one to tell my dad, send him over. But when we got there, he was living in a 3-bedroom apartment, but he has 4 kids. So it's like I needed to share a room with his son, Claudence, which was fine, but it's like, you know, you're in people's face. It's not the same. Yeah. And I had another uncle in Portland, Oregon, who...
The complete opposite side of the country.
Complete opposite. He's like, I live alone. You need to send him here. So that's the way things started to change. But from moving to Haiti back to here, the one thing that was in my mind after those 4 years, because I realized, like, okay, soccer is what I really want. Like, I've fallen in love with soccer now. That's what I want to do. So I was excited to come back to the States and see what, you know, doors I could find, what opportunities could be open for me. And yeah, that's how it started. So I came back. Once I got to Florida, we were playing, like, you know, around, like, with the family and stuff like that. They're like, oh my God, yeah, you're good. We need to find you, like, a college. You need to do this and that. And yeah, when I moved to Portland, we started, like, trying to apply for college. But I didn't know, the only mistake I think I made is I didn't know how the system was, the schooling and football system. So me, I saw, okay, pro. But I didn't know how here in America, like, the college system kind of correlated in a way, like with the draft and all that stuff. And with when you start college, you have a certain clock to play.
Eligibility.
Wise.
So this is 2011, just based off in my head, off the timeline? Okay.
Yeah.
So you go to Portland.
I go to Portland.
And you're applying. Obviously, you're kind of the first person doing this in your family. Yeah. You have no clue what's going on.
No clue.
So you find a school, I'm assuming, or something.
I find a school. It's and before I went to Portland, my uncle was like, yeah, there's a school right across the street from my house. Okay, I'm like, okay, great. But when I get there, okay, I do see the school, but it's a community college. But that's not the problem. I mean, there's a lot of players I know who go through community college and then go on.
Yeah.
It's like grades and stuff like that. So I understand. Well, I was ignorant at that time. It's just lack of knowledge. I didn't know. And my uncle didn't know either. So they didn't even have a soccer program.
Yeah.
Wow. That's even the worst part. They had a basketball program, everything else, no soccer program, no soccer fields, nothing. And it started there. It started rough. So I was like, okay, I'm going to play. I found this team called IPS. They were called International Portland Select, and they were like a men's league team in Portland, and they were like the best in the OPSL or UPS or whatever they played, whatever the name is. The coach kind of took me under his arm. He was like, okay, you're a good player, like come from Haiti. We're going to try to help you out and stuff like that. Maybe try to get you in the Portland Timbers because that's the local team there. So they also had some pros who used to play for Portland who would like play with them. And like also every good player that comes like away from college, they would play with them as well. So they had definitely a good team. So I'm focusing on school. I'm going to school. Don't know yet what I'm going for, but, I'm taking classes, taking credits and stuff. And a year goes by, still the same. No proper, like, soccer with really good competition and stuff like that. Because when I left Haiti, I was playing a lot. Like, I was playing, like, national, like, tournament. I was playing, called for the U17 national team, all that stuff,
Oh, wow.
It went quick.
Wow.
It went quick, yeah.
What the heck?
So when I'm back there, I'm like, it's a little different. I thought it was going to be, even though I didn't know the system, I saw it differently. I'm like, when I come back, like, I already see myself, like, in a pro team, doing this, doing that, but it's like, it's harder than you think. It's like, yeah, you may have the ability or whatever, but you got to find a way. Like, if I'm going to school to transfer, I'm not good where I am right now. Nobody's going to see me, it's different. It's difficult. So, oh man, this is, I feel it because I remember how I got out of that because that was not easy. So for the first 2 years there, I was not playing pro and I was not playing in the Division I school. So
And you're getting old. You're not getting younger.
I'm not getting younger.
You're 22 now at the end of that.
And then I went to the grocery store one day. Trader Joe's is right across the street from a bar that had pool. So I was just passing time there to wait to go play in the pool tournament because it was the first time I could actually get into a bar because I'm of age now. And those pool tournaments are inside bars. So it's like they wouldn't let you in if you're not 21. So I was like super excited. I'm sitting here waiting. And then there's one of the guys that played for the IPS team. And he came in the store at the same time. Then we started chatting. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm just waiting. And then as we're talking, we see 3 guys walking in with, like, tracksuits and stuff like that, like soccer or something. Oh, and I'm super curious. I'm like, oh, what is this? Where are you guys from? And they're like, oh, we're from Washington, a little town called Peninsula, Port Angeles, and we're from the school called Peninsula College or whatever. And he's like, I'm like, oh, interesting. Yeah, we're here to talk to a player that we're thinking about bringing in and stuff like that. And they're like, what about you? Are you a player? And I'm like, yeah, I play and stuff. They're like, what position do you play? I'm like, I play striker, winger. And then they're like, are you good? And then my friend, the guy he was older, he was like 40 at the time, older guy, but used to be really good. And he was a pro, played for Gambian national team. And he looked at him, he's like, is he good? He's good. And then the coach gave me their card, and he was like, all right, give us a call. We exchange contacts, and then we'll give you an invitation. You can come and see the
University.
Wow.
And whatever.
Beautiful.
It was like that. Like, they never saw it.
Talking
It's
about
Crazy,
destiny.
man. Timing, huh?
That's
Bro,
destiny
timing
right
is
there.
crazy. So then I'm like, what the heck? Where is that? Like, so then I start looking up. I start looking like the school and stuff like that. And then they explained to me, yeah, they play in NJCC in Washington, and it's like a junior college, but they play at the highest level of that whatever you can get. And then from there, he's like, you can transfer to a like good school, like, because he's like, have a good team. They won like 2 years before, and like, there could be opportunities there. So I'm over there. I'm already out of school, but I'm not playing like for the school or doing anything like that. So I feel like, okay, this could be an opportunity. So one of my best friends, Palto, who I met at the school, because he's also Haitian. And when he met me, I saw him with a Haitian necklace, and I'm like, are you Haitian? And we just connected like that. It's crazy. So then I told him, he had a car at that time. I didn't. And I told him, you know what? I've been invited to go to this school to visit or whatever. Could you take me? He's like, oh yeah, let's do it, man. It's like a 5-hour drive or 4.5-hour drive.
God.
Yeah. So we pack, like, we go there. They said we're gonna be there for like 2-3 days. I'm like, perfect. They let us know where we're gonna stay. So I'm excited. You know, I'm super excited. I don't know what it's gonna be like, but I get there. It's like, oh, it's nice. They have a soccer field. They show me the gym, everything. I was like, wow, this is nice. So then they're like, yeah, tomorrow we have training. So like, we want you to train with the team. So they put me in. First day, like, I completely killed it. Like,
Wow.
I was just excited. I just killed it. I'm like, wow, this is what I like, a proper team and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were like, they could not believe it
Yeah,
that
they're
they
shocked.
found
Yeah.
a player like that, like,
At a grocery
at
store.
a grocery store. Yeah, like till this day, if you call my coach, his name is Andrew Chapman. He always like talks about that. He's like, I can't believe we got you from a grocery store. It's crazy, man.
That is
That's
crazy.
You know,
But good on good on them too for taking the risk, right? That's
exactly,
crazy. Yeah.
because normally like things like that don't happen. And
No.
I'm just forever grateful that that's hard. That's how it started, really. So here I am. I'm at Peninsula. I finally, registered. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go for a degree in business and stuff like that. I love numbers and all that stuff. So let's go. So now I'm in a team. I am excited. I'm ready. I have an opportunity in front of me I got a full scholarship to go there. So I got a scholarship and I get to play soccer.
So they told after the trial, they told you like you're on the team.
Oh,
Like you need to come here
100%.
immediately.
He said they say if you like it and stuff like that. At that point, I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing. It's
better than what I was doing,
Better
yeah.
than I was doing. They have like a club team at the school I was at, but it's so bad. Like it was terrible. Like we would go play against other teams and they have players can't even control the ball. In every game, I'm scoring 6-7 goals. I'm like, no, that's not where I need to be. That's not going to help me in any way. So yeah, finally I moved there. So now it's different, I'm in a good setting, and I'm super excited. So now it comes preseason. We're in spring, right? So I can't remember the exact day, but my first spring game is against UW.
The Washington.
University of Washington.
Jeez.
That's our first spring game. It's a friendly, and everybody's like, yeah, UW, they're good. They play in the Pac-12, this and that, Division
Yeah.
One.
Right.
And man, this is bringing me back. We get there, and I'm like looking at their pitch. Like we had a turf field, but them they have a nice grass field, and looking at their facilities, like top notch, and I obviously I'm starting out. We played an old school 4-4-2, and there's me and this guy Alex. We're playing up top, and it's like he runs, I check. I run, he check. It's like we are constantly moving, and we ended up beating UW that game.
Oh my God.
We won, and I scored 2 goals.
Wow.
Killer.
And got an assist.
Wow.
So it was crazy, and then now UW is asking, who's that? Like,
Yeah, who is
and
that
then
guy?
The coach is telling them, and it's crazy because like I come out of nowhere, and I'm over here. So now they have me on their radar, and then season starts. We wait for season starts. We went that year undefeated. I had 16 goals and 15 assists.
Killer.
How many games?
21 games.
Wow, dude.
Beautiful.
Good job.
21 games. We tied one game 0-0. After that, we won everything.
Were you guys traveling? Sorry. That might have been loud. Sorry, guys. Were you traveling far on that team?
We did not travel too far. The only out-of-state game we had was Oregon.
Okay.
We had to go down to Salem, Oregon. All the other teams were like Tacoma, Puyallup, and other surroundings of Washington. Of Washington, yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, we won the NWAC that year, and it was amazing. And the other day, I posted about it actually. Like moments in my life that kept me in love with the game, and like I scored a banger on the semifinals of the Final Four that year, and it's a moment I'll never forget because that was my first opportunity and first time I'm getting to a final like that, and it's just moments that really marked my life and career in general, So yeah, it's a successful year, and then now. D1 colleges, like they call it.
Oh,
They want
yeah.
me to go. But that time, this is year 3 in college. and I'm looking. They say, "Oh, I have 2 years of eligibility left." I'm like, "What does that mean?" I'm trying to understand.
confused.
Like, okay, I'm confused, and then it's like, so
Who's calling? Bro?
like UW. I have UCLA. I have San Diego State. I have some D2 team too. Barry University. Actually, Barry University paid for my for a trip down there to go visit. Like, they were trying to convince me because they're in Florida, and Haiti's not far from Florida.
Yeah.
They're like,
They gotta do what they gotta do to.
they gotta do what they gotta
They're selling
do.
their program.
They're trying to sell it. But I went down there. It's honestly great campus. A lot of national teams, when they come to Florida, that's where they train at their facility. The grass is.
What town is it, or the city?
It's in where is it at? I think it's in. I don't think it's in Miami.
Fort
It's in
Lauderdale?
It might be.
What's the
something
name
like
of the
that.
school?
Barry University.
Barry.
Yeah.
You know what's-
Barry.
I have like a random sweatshirt from there.
Yeah.
I've just always had. I never knew where it is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
red and
yeah,
white.
yeah.
What's the back?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've just always had it. I don't know, it's weird. I never knew where it was. But anyways, that's funny. That's
Yeah. So
coincidence.
To be fair, that coach, like, we talked and we got like a good connection, but I just ended up not making that decision to go D1. So prior to going to Peninsula, I had met a guy who I'll be forever grateful for. He's one of my best friends. His name is Obatola Great Gabriel. He was playing for the Portland Timbers at that time, and it's a small world, man. So Obatola came from Asia and signed for the Timbers. This guy we met because we were training someplace and he was there, and he came in like left-footed guy, strong, big. I'm like, who's this guy? And we started training and playing together, and he's like, oh my God, you're a good player. So he started he kind of took me under his wing and stuff.
Wow.
And he was looking for an apartment. He couldn't find an apartment at the time. He came and stayed at my place where I
Wow.
was staying. So we built a friendship there.
Yeah.
And to see, this is the guy who, by that time when I'm like trying to make a decision which D1 school I'm going to go to, what's going to happen, and he's like, I think you're maybe ready to go pro if you want. Like, connect you to my agent. We can bring you here to Asia, and we can try to find you a contract and something like that. And at that time, I was like, this, what do I do? And it just sounded so appealing, and I made this decision. I was like, all right, I'm ready. I'm gonna come. So after that season, I told the coach, and he was like excited for me. He's like, a lot of coaches will be disappointed that you're not like joining their team or whatever, but you got to do what's best for you and what do you think.
So aside from Barry, did you have a good relationship with the other Pac-12 people or like the Mountain
Not
West schools?
necessarily, but I would have gone to UW.
That's where you would have won.
Yeah, that's where I would have went.
Now,
Because they do have good business program,
Yeah.
and they were also right there.
Yeah.
So it's like I was already familiar with the
Area and
the area. Like, I started training with not that time yet, but they had Seattle Sounders
Yeah.
there at the time. So I figured it would be the place to be because Seattle's such a beautiful and amazing city.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have mind. But I had moved around in my life so much that when I got to a place where I felt like happy and comfortable, I was like, I want to stay there. But I'll touch back up on that because also a lot of times you're afraid of change and you're afraid of challenges, and that can hold you back because sometimes you may think you have an opportunity somewhere and you keep knocking on that door and just stay there. No, I want to be here. I want to be here. And it doesn't happen. The door never
comfortable.
opens. You get comfortable. This is where you're comfortable. But if you really try to go somewhere else and challenge yourself, maybe there's another door or opportunity that can open up.
So to wrap up college, no regrets. Like even to this day, you wouldn't do it any differently.
That's hard for me to say. Yeah. I don't have any regrets because I ended up going and making a lot of money and really enjoying football, like an experience I never thought I would have had when I was growing up. So I'm grateful and happy, but I always think like two things. I'm like, man, what if I was born in France? And that's what I was thinking. Like, what if I was born in France or Germany or England or something like that and grew up playing? Like, where would I be? Like, would I be playing for PSG right now? I always think of it that way. Like, if I grew up playing and, like, was in big academies or, like, maybe it would have been different because I look at it like, okay, I don't get to have a career like Neymar or whatever, but I still had a career or I'm still having a career that I'm happy and proud of, because like I said,
Yeah.
I came from nowhere. Like I didn't know I was going to make it that far.
It's an awesome story.
So yeah, now I make this decision. I go to Asia. My friend, he pays for the ticket. I was looking at the prices. The prices to go to Thailand at that time was like 3,000. I'm like, what the where am I gonna find this?
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of money to pay for a ticket.
Even today, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
yeah. Like, and he's like, no, I got you. He pays for the ticket for me, and I go there, and he's like, okay. He was also changing teams. He was on a team. He's been in Asia for a while, and he's trying to look for a new team as well. And there's a team that asked him to come, but I'm with him, and we're together, and he brought me there, so he's not just gonna leave me at his house. So he took me as well. We went there. I'm sitting. Obviously, I'm a soccer player, and I love the game now, so I always have my boots. I'm always ready.
Yeah.
So we go. That team has a friendly game. Crazy.
This is in Thailand?
This is in Thailand.
Okay.
That team has a friendly game, and he's a big player over there. They just want to see. There's some rumors he had some fight with his other team, like money wise, and then he's like he wants to leave. They got him. They gave him his release, whatever. So he's free agent now. So he gets there. He's ready to play this friendly game. And as he's over there, before, like me and him, we were like passing the ball. I put my cleats on, passing the ball, and then the coach was like, "Who's that kid or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, he's my friend. He's also a player. Like he's looking for a team and stuff like that." So it's like, "Okay, could he play in the game?" And they're like, "Of course." And I'm like, I'm shocked. I'm not really,
Crazy.
So, but my friend started because he's the big player. He's whatever. So he starts, and it's going. The other team scores. So my friend's team is down 1-0. Well, he hadn't signed for them yet, but they wanted to make sure he was like in shape, fit, like not like he's just trying to come and make a bunch of money and then he's not actually ready to play. So halftime, coach makes a sub. He puts me in. So my friend's playing up top, and he puts me on the left wing. And I start just making things happen. And then like after 10 minutes after I'm in, I like take on two guys. I cut back to my right, cross. My friend scores header. Assist. Boom. Like we going. It's 1-1. It's 1-1. So as we keep going, almost the end of the game, there's a ball that's played to me from the right back all the way to me, and I find myself right on top of the box. One touch, just boom, shot, 2-1.
Flex again. Boom.
Crazy. So I'm telling you, this is just surreal. Like I'm like, I'm not even supposed to be playing this game, and I'm over here. So then now the coach is like, "Yo, we like this guy. Okay, we'll sign them both." I'm not kidding you. They brought out paper. They made us wait for like maybe 2 hours because they had to prepare contract. And the agent was like, and my friend is like, "Bro, you're gonna sign. Bro, that's amazing." But here's the best part about it. So my friend helps me to bring me there, but I don't think I'm gonna be in the same team with him. I just want a start. Somewhere where I can get a contract, get some money, and then experience like playing at a professional level. And I ended up being in the same team as him.
That's nice.
And when I see the contract, I see the numbers. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Wait, you can?" And they put it on US dollars.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Bro, like
Tell us the numbers.
my heart open." Like my first contract I signed, I was making $15,000 a month.
Wow, dude.
That's insane.
That's
I went
crazy.
from making no money to like $15,000 a month, and the game bonuses are like 1,500, 2,000.
How do they give those? If you win or just every game?
Like every game, like if you win, it was a certain amount. It was like 1,000 or something like that.
US dollars.
$700 for every point. So if you get 3 points, then you times that by 3. If you get a tie,
That's awesome, man. Congrats.
It was crazy. So that's my first. I'm telling you, my first contract. And my friend, obviously, he signed for more, but they're like, "This is the offer," and I was like, "Wow, this is like it's unbelievable. I can't believe it. Like now it's also I'm young. Like now money starts coming in. Like I'm very generous, I'd say, but looking back at it now, like more responsible. When you make money, I try to, invest or save as much as I can and
Yeah.
like, not waste it. But
Right.
at that time I was like sitting with my boys, like,
Oh, yeah.
yo,
How
I'm
was
telling you,
how was the cost of living? It wasn't that expensive to live over there,
that's
right?
the,
you're
that's the other part, my friend. At that time, well, still now, but with that amount of money, I can live here in the U.S. comfortable.
over there. You're like a king.
Over there, you're like a king. I'm telling you, like when they take me to see apartments, like the apartments they're taking me to see, I'm like, what is going on? And then the like you find regular normal people like cab drivers. Like I hired a driver at that time because I didn't know around and I wasn't gonna drive in Thailand because I didn't have a car or even license yet.
Yeah.
He's like, we get to connect and he's telling me how much he makes like a month and things like that, and it's like he would take me from home to training and I'm thinking, wait, the price that it costs for the cab to take me from there to training makes no sense at all. How is it so cheap?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like costing me like $3 or something to go like
I wouldn't drive either.
20, 30 minutes. Yeah.
What?
So like when he takes me to training, I'm like, yeah, I'll give him like $30. You know what I mean? Like, cause it wasn't really much for me, but also I feel like I can do something generous and have
No,
like
that's nice. Yeah.
a good person in my corner and stuff. So yeah, like wherever I wanted to go, I can call him at any time. He will pick me up and take me.
That's awesome, man.
So we start the season and I'm enjoying it. But there's pressure because in Asia now I'm a foreigner, and the foreign players they get paid more, but it's just like here they're considered like the DPs.
DP. Yeah.
So it's like I'm technically a DP over there, and it's like the expectation is like. But I'm young, I'm fit. Like I love this. Like I feel I understand the pressure, but when it comes game time, I just ball out. Like
Real quick, just on the contract, because I'm just you give us the
go ahead,
numbers,
go
but is it like how guaranteed are these contracts? Like, is it like
this team? So there's a how do you call it? There's this thing in certain countries you go play in, like the salary doesn't come early or like they don't really pay you. But this was a team where they don't have those problems. In certain places, like even I don't want to mention like name.
Yeah,
the team,
we
but
understand
they
it,
say
yeah.
sometime like. One of my friends playing in Turkey, even the second league, and he was having problems getting paid. One of my other friends played in Azerbaijan. He went to that team because they were qualifying for Champions League, and they were late on payments, like $80,000. Like they owed them from 2 months. So it's
but this team was good.
this team was good, and they paid, and they were affiliated to the and over there they have a king and stuff like that. They were affiliated to that, to like the government or something like that.
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
So they had money and it was never a problem. Payment was on time. You get your bonuses cash, and then you don't pay taxes. so yeah,
Jesus, man,
it's-
you're the equivalent of a millionaire over there.
Yeah, it's like
literally with no taxes and with the cost of living, like
literally
that's crazy.
Literally. So I was really enjoying that, and I think that's what opened up my eyes about traveling and how rich it is when you get to travel, how much you can learn, like being immersed in different cultures. And I think that's mainly why I'm like so open and so like welcoming to people, because living in Thailand, they're the nicest and most welcoming people you'll probably ever meet. It's crazy. Like the culture there is like is amazing.
Okay.
So in the food, oh my god. So
So a lot of pressure on you. You're playing.
a lot of pressure on me. I'm playing. I'm scoring goals. I'm getting assists, and the team's doing fine. But at that time, it's me and that guy as a foreigner, and then 3 more. But only 4 can play at a time. But out of those 4, 1 has to be Asian. That means if we're playing in Thailand, 1 can be from South Korea, or
Right.
Australia, or something like that. But 3 of the other foreigners can be.
Anywhere.
But yeah, I was grateful. I was always starting, always in the lineup, and so I left after that year. So it was 1-year contract. At the end of the year, the coach left. He went to a different team, and my friend was still there. But I was thinking like back to like, okay, now can I transfer back and make a shot for in America?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? Yeah, why not? Let's do this. So, and what is it? 2014 or so, 2014 or 2015? I can't remember exactly. Came back to the U.S. Went back to Seattle.
So you left all that.
I left all that. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh well, I left all that not as in just left all that, but there were options to sign again. But I wanted to kind of come back home and see what the opportunities were and stuff like that.
Okay.
I didn't know. I'm telling you,
I'm not.
You were young.
I'm young. I don't know what's going on. I think maybe I can come to the U.S., make more money, or I don't know. Like I'm just excited to come back home because the period I came back, it's not like the season runs the same time as the season here, so it's not like Europe where it's like you start preseason in June and then you finish in May or whatever. No, it was like you start January, you finish like November. So it was the same. So my off season was the off season here.
Okay.
So when I came back to the off season here, I tried to get in contact with Seattle. So I had one of my boys that was playing for Seattle at that time, and he talked to Ezra for me at that time. And Ezra was at that time they had a team called S2. They were playing in the championship in the USL. And he said, okay, we'll talk to Ezra, and then we'll see, if we can bring you in. So I went there. He brought me in for training, and they were like, okay, can you come for preseason? I played 3 games on them for preseason, and it was at the year where the CBA, I don't know, you know what the CBA is?
Like the bargaining agreement?
The bargaining agreement. Every 5 years, like they have to do a new one.
Yeah.
And that year they were supposed to do one, and the players were like going on strike. So the second team, which was going to play in the USL, was going to sign more players than they would have if all the MLS players were like normally playing, right?
Yep.
Because what happens is most of those reserve MLS teams that are playing in the championship, there were a lot back then because there was not the MLS Next Pro or whatever. So they would have mostly first team guys that are not getting a lot of minutes, and then a couple other guys like that are signed to the second team. But it would be mostly like first team guys that can come up and down. They would just only train with the first team, but they would come down sometimes
and play with you guys
and play with us for a game day. So I'm doing good in preseason. I feel comfortable. I feel happy, but it's different. Like here, like over there in Asia, the difference is you have, man, the technique of these players is amazing. It was the first time I was seeing. You have 10 players on the field. They're all technical. Like it's crazy, so good with the ball, but not as physical. So here in America, it's more like physical. Like how much can you run and things like that, So it's like big boy game.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I am with the team, and it's like it's not as, I wouldn't say it was easy in Asia, but it's more challenging because like you have like a lot of fast guys you have to deal with, like and you have like bigger defenders and things like that, So it changes the
way you play.
The way you play in the game a little bit, You can't really like just run through people. You have to. To adapt. Anyway, so I'm doing great, and I'm confident I'm going to sign. So coach brings me into his office, and he says, "Okay, see, this is what's going on. Right now, we're thinking about signing 15 guys, right? But right now, you were number 11 on my list, okay? Like the 11th guy. But we're only." From the GM, Garth Lodger was the GM at that time. He said, from what the GM told me, we're only going to sign 10. He said, but stand by. We don't know yet what's going to happen because we have to wait to see what's going to happen with the CBA.
Right.
Are they going to have an agreement with the MLS where the players are like, okay, are playing, or is it not? Because if they don't come into an agreement, that's good for me because I get to sign because they're not going to have as many MLS players.
Right.
And then, like, not too long after that, like, they agreed on the CBA, and then, like, I didn't get the contract. But I'm telling you, I was in love with Seattle. That's why one of the reasons I came back. So then I'm like, wow, okay. Well, that opportunity is not there. Fine. So they started preseason already. So the first team, so guys, they feel like from the second team can train or play with the first team. They invite them to preseason. And towards like the end of preseason, I'm still like trying to figure out, am I going to come back and to Asia? What's going to happen? Like, what are my options? And I'm talking to the agent over there. I'm talking to my friend, and Seattle sends me an email to come to training. So I go to training. Now I'm training with the first team, like not just the second team. I'm training with the first team because they knew I was good, but it's like they don't really want to give me a contract. It's just
Seattle back then was like a powerhouse too. They went all the time. Yeah,
we had Clint Dempsey. Yep. We had Obafemi Martins.
Yep. Jesus.
He
was fast, right?
Yeah. Yedlin. We had So the team was stacked. So I'm over there and I'm training with these players and I'm excited. You know, like I'm excited. I'm enjoying it, and it gives me the feel like, oh man, I want to be here. I want to play in the MLS. Like
Right.
I want to play for this team.
Right.
So that kept me like keep trying to play for Seattle or come to Seattle, and the door wasn't opening for me.
Right.
It's like in a weird way. My boy Richie Greenwood, he's like an agent there. He used to play for Columbus Crew. Was a really good player back then, and he kept telling me, I don't understand why they don't give you an opportunity. And he kept comparing me with some other players, like, you better than this guy, you better than this guy. Why? Because you didn't go to a D1 school? Like, who cares? Like,
He was your agent?
he was not my agent, but he was a good friend that
He understood the
he
game.
understood the
system.
game,
Yeah.
and he was around, and he was a how do you call it? He was becoming an agent, but he didn't need to be an agent to refer me to somebody or to talk to somebody. So he would call Ezra. He's like, man, you got to look out for your boys, like, because Ezra's from the islands as well. He's like, how can you not sign him and all that stuff? But you know, I don't hold any grudges. I understood then, because I know a lot of my friends would say, man, there's politics in football, there's things and that. That's the first time I experienced it. You know, it's like, how can I be here? Okay, yes, okay, maybe I'm a local guy or whatever, but I'm not an international. I don't take international spot. Like, give me a roster spot or something like that. But so I realized it's not that easy, man. It's you work.
So you were playing with legit first team?
Legit first team, but never got a contract.
Who stood out to you when you were with them? Like someone that was just you were like, wow.
Dempsey, he just scores like Clint Dempsey. Yeah, he just scores like that. But the guy really that made things happen at that time was Obafemi Martins. Like, he was just so good, so fast, so athletic. Yeah, that guy he was crazy.
So you understood why they were like where they were.
Oh,
you weren't like this
sure.
kid. You're like they were like, oh, he's not that good.
No,
you're like
they're
good.
They were good. Yeah, they were good. And the training facility at Sounders, it's just
it's unreal. Right?
Oh my god, unreal. Like, they play on the turf field at the stadium where the Seahawks play, but the training pitch is like grass. But like, I think that's the best grass I've seen in the Washington area. Wow. It's like it's amazing. Honestly, amazing grass.
So you keep kind of getting the door closed.
Getting the door closed. And I finally have a conversation with the coach, it was Smetcher, and I'm telling him, like, okay, I'm probably gonna go back to Asia, or like, do you guys want me to go back, get more experience, and then come back? Like, what is it, and stuff like that. He's like, we love having you around and stuff like that. It's good, like, especially when we need numbers for training and stuff like that. It's great. You're a good character, good player. But he's like, not everything is in my head. But I just realized I was just maybe not his favorite, or like I had to be, I don't know, super special for him to sign me, or like they were just not gonna sign a local guy that didn't play for their academy or something like that. I don't know what it was. It just wasn't
meant to be.
There you go. It was not meant to be.
Yeah.
And so then that's when I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to try that anymore. I'm going to leave, go somewhere else. So right before I was like not feeling it. I'm like, why? Like, why can't I sign for this team? I don't understand. Like, it's so hard to get to train with the first team. And I'm like, I'm here, I'm training, I'm showing like I'm good.
Even
like,
that alone is crazy.
That alone is crazy. Like, and I'm like, how? Like,
but are you doing good in those sessions, by the way?
I'm telling you, I'm doing good in those sessions. And there was one point, I forgot this kid's name. He was a left winger, and we were on the same team because he didn't start all the games, but he was a very good player. And obviously, they would have the starting team playing against like the rest of the guys, so I would be in the rest of the guys, and I play left winger mostly. And that guy also is a left winger, but he signed to the first team, so they had to give him, I had to call it priority. So he had to play left winger, and I had to play left back. But I would have to go against, there was a striker there. Was it Will Bruin or was it somebody else? But he was like playing on the right side, and he could not pass me any time. And I'm like, I was killing him, like, get the ball from him, like, counter. I was killing that left side. And I'm like, can you not see? Like, one of your good strikers cannot even, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've shown that I have the quality. And so I had to move on from that page, honestly. But that is one team like I fell in love with because I was around them for so long, and I saw how it is. Like, it was nice. They always give me like sweet tickets to go and watch the games and stuff like that. Yeah. It was just nice because I'm training with them. But as I was like, I had that itch. I'm like, man, I want to be on that field. I want to play with these guys. And
You don't want to just sit and stand by and be waiting for someone to call you. I
It's
get
like
it, yeah.
when you're in that environment, it makes you stay hungry. You know what I mean? Like you like, oh my god, this is what I want. Because like I'm telling you, I did not play soccer at a young age, and I'm discovering things. I'm getting experience, and I'm seeing things. I'm like, man, like how did I not play this longer? Like how, what do I do to be there? What can I do to be there? You know?
Right.
So I ended up after that signing for a team called Kitsa Pumas. They were in the PDL at the time. So I go from playing in Asia to coming here trying to sign for Sounders, not going back to Asia right away, stayed, played like a couple games in the PDL, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going back. I'm like, this is not worth it. I'm going to go back. So I went back to Asia. I signed for a team called Samutsakon FC. Also, like, good contract. I'm comfortable. I'm like, okay, this is what it is. Then, after that season with Samutsakon, actually, I helped that team get promoted and get a qualification for Division 1 playoff. Like, there's a playoff you have to do to get into the Division 1 there. So, like, we won whatever we had to win to get into that playoffs, which was great. And then after that, I left. I only left because a team from from Vietnam came and knocked in. And one of my friends also, he played also in Vietnam. And he's like, there's a team that's from Vietnam. And that's, like I said, you probably never heard this thing or like know any teams from those countries, but yeah, that's football everywhere, my friend. It's just like, you just got to know where to go, have the right connection to go there.
Right,
And like
right.
I said, the amount of money they were offering over there, it's like I never thought that would, that's what it would be,
Yeah.
So I had a girlfriend at the time. We were in Thailand. She was from Russia, and her family owned a lot of stuff. And then she modeled like around Bangkok and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, we were so that's the girl. Like that was really my first love, and I really thought I was gonna marry that girl or whatever. But it had happened where when the team from Vietnam came and like knocked on the door, I'm like, okay, they're inviting me to go over there. It's only 1 hour flight to Ho Chi Minh. Let me go. Let me check it out, and then I can let you know. She's like, what am I gonna do in Vietnam? Like, there's nothing to do there or whatever. Like, I'm not. She's not interested, but I'm like, okay, it's my career. I have to go. I have to try. So I get on the plane. I go there. Like the night before, she was very upset. So I go there, and then when I get there, I'm like, this is nice. Like, bro, I'm like, and then they send me like the offer and stuff, and I send it right away to my girl. I'm like, hey, look how much they offering me. Like, what you mean? Like, let's go.
What she say?
Yeah, she was like, no, I'm not moving to Vietnam. And I'm like, okay, we have to find a compromise, right?
That would have broken
It
Pops.
is.
You know,
That gets Pops upset.
Yeah.
Look at Pops. He's sad.
I'm sad
No
right
comment?
now.
So I tried everything to convince her, and when I'm telling you, like, I was in love, man. Like, I really wanted her to move with me because I wanted to share everything I had with her. So when I got there, the first thing I was looking at is like, okay, what place or house, whatever, can I get that she would like, that I know will make her happy, and that she would want to come with me.
Yeah.
And I start sending her pictures and like links and stuff like that. She's looking nice and all, but she doesn't want to move there. I understand because 4 times out of the week she has like photo shoots in Bangkok or whatever.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's a 1 hour flight, my friend. I'm like, I'm
Right.
like, I will pay every
She
time.
should move.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
So I get there. So I told her I'm gonna get there, check it out, and then come back. So while I'm over there, I'm there for 3 days, and I'm already seeing everything. For me, it's confirmed. Yeah, this is not something I can say no to.
Mm-hmm.
After like everything I had just gone through, it's not something I'm gonna say no to, and I'm not gonna make the same mistake I did before.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to secure myself, my financial future or whatever. And I told her I was going to come back, and then we're gonna talk about it, and then I'll sign or whatever. But when I was there, I was like, no, I'm gonna sign.
You already
Right
signed.
away, I'm staying.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna do this. I signed right away. And when I came back, I told her, you know what, I signed. Like, I feel like I have to do this. And then I started thinking about ways we can compromise. I said, I'm going to be playing, so that means the weekends I cannot come to Thailand.
Right.
Okay, but you can come. And like, I'll pay for the flight every time for you to come in. It's not like it's expensive, but I'm just telling her I want to make the effort.
Right.
And I'm like, if you don't want to stay over here like the whole week and then go whenever you have it, then stay. The days you have photo shoot, you stay. Before the weekend, like Friday, you come, and then we're together. And then Saturday, you can be at my game and stuff like that. Even when we play away, she could still, they organized stuff with their wives and girlfriends and family, whatever, to travel to the game. So that would have made it easy. But she decided not to, and I guess it did hurt. But I was like, okay, I don't know how yet I'm going to.
Did that affect your playing at all?
It didn't affect my playing at that point. But here's the point where it was disappointing. It was how I got there and, not being selfish, like thinking like this is a good contract. I need to sign it. Mm-hmm. But I have to think about her. Like, what can I do to make her happy? So I'm in my head, I'm coming back to talk to her and to have everything, like to try to get her on the same page. And when I got back, like it was disappointing, but it was like I saw she was on Tinder.
No.
I'm not kidding. Anyways, this is completely away from soccer, but it is part of the story.
It's part of your journey.
It's part of my journey. So listen, but we were pretty close and pretty good friends. I'd say like we were open, like we talked about everything. Yeah. And then I was like, "Why do you have Tinder on your phone?" And she's like, "Honestly, when you left, I didn't think you were gonna come back." And she said, "I was disappointed," and she said, I got on there to try to find people to talk to. And then she asked me, "Why are you with me anyways?" And things like that. It's just weird stuff. So then, no, it's like, I'm like, wait, now you having self-confidence issues? I'm like, I've always included you in everything. And like, I'm literally coming back here just so I can get you to come with me. And you thinking I'm just going to abandon you or whatever. Anyways, so she told me, I'm like, so what didn't it? Because it was only 2 days. And she's like, no, it's funny because I found a friend on there that I used to go to school with. And we were talking. I was explaining to him the situation and stuff like that. Obviously, I wasn't trying to do anything, but I was trying to find some people to talk to and stuff. And I was like, okay, I came to negotiate with you, but right now there's no negotiation.
This video was sponsored by Oil Labs, the best fragrance known to mankind. There's one thing that a man needs and one thing that a man should have. Number one is God, and number two, Oil Labs. Now, this fragrance is engraven in your skin and in your clothes, more potent, more stronger, the best fragrance known to mankind, which is Oil Labs. Aren't you tired of buying fragrances and as soon as you spray them on and step outside, they are lost in the wind? Contact us on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Negotiate with terrorists.
Right now, I told her it's either you come there or like we're done.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Boom, put your foot down.
That was it. So then, I know that hurt her or whatever, but she had to understand how that made me feel. You know? So I made the decision. I packed. The next day I was out. And I'm like, okay, I got to continue my career. This is what I'm gonna
Forget
do.
her.
Yeah.
When you back on. So when you get to Vietnam, at this point, this is your third or fourth contract.
Yeah.
Are you getting better at kind of like understanding the game and
for
what
sure.
you want in your contract or certain things?
Yeah, exactly.
So what are some maybe differences that you learned to kind of have added into your contract at this, other than just money, right? But is there like, do they give you perks at all, or?
I mean, they give you a car. And they give you whatever house you want. They give you that, or if you want, Wait,
they give you a car, a house, and they pay you?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's
insane, dude.
Like there in Malaysia, like it's like when you sign, they give you a house and a car. That's like the first perk.
That
and then you
is
get your
crazy. When I signed, you know what I got? Crackers. Dry crackers.
A little different over there, I guess.
Yeah. So
you go to Vietnam.
I go there. So like I'm excited. So that's another chapter in my career, and I'm playing with this guy who had won the U17 World Cup. He's from Nigeria. His name is Oseni. But it's funny because before I signed for that team in Vietnam, they used to have 5 foreigners allowed. Then they changed the rule. There was like, no, too many foreigners. Like now we're gonna go to 2 foreigners. So it's even harder to sign. Now every team has 2 foreigners. So it's like it's tough. Like, So, anyways, I'm grateful I got to sign, and it was my friend. He's making like, I don't know, 40K a month. Like he's been there for like 5-6 years, so he's known in the league. And I come in, I'm like, okay, like this is nice. We're playing. The league is interesting. It's fast, like you know, like it's different, a little bit different than Thailand, and I'm enjoying it. I have one of my friends now. That's where the story continues. I have one of my best friends, Dada. He was we went to school together, and he tried to go play in France. So he went to France for tryouts and stuff, and got connected to an agent. And when he got there, he would be watching my games on TV from his agent's house. So now his agent is sitting there also watching the games. And every time I have a game on, they're watching it. So then he sends me a message one day. He's like, hey, somebody wants to talk to you. And then so he passes the phone on to the agent. And the agent was like, hey, I'm da-da-da. And I've been watching your games. And like, do you not want to come to Europe? That's what he says to me. And I'm like, well, of course I would love to come to Europe, but you know, I'm at a point like where I like where I'm at. I'm making good money, this and that. And he's like, yeah, I've been watching you. And he said, this is exactly what he said to me. He said, you have nothing to do in Asia. That's what he told me. He's he's like, he feels like when he's watching my game, I'm so good that I should not be playing in Asia. I should be playing in Europe. So he's like, if with your permission, I will give your info to some clubs here in France, and they can watch your games, like to recruiters. They can watch your games while you're playing over there. And if we get something, then you can come. So I'm like, of course, like I don't have to do anything for that. I just have to play. So having that in the back of my head, I'm okay. This is exciting. That's cool. Let's do that. So, but remember, the season in Europe is different than the season in Asia. Like I said, the season in Asia same as here. So January we start, and then by June it's like mid-season over there. But Europe is starting. Right. So I'm doing really well in the league. Now the agent messaged me. He says, "Hey, man, I don't know what you're going to do, but you have to come to France as soon as possible. Auxerre is interested. Auxerre is a team in League 2 France. And when I tell you League 2 France, that is proper. Auxerre. Auxerre is a League 2 France, but that needs to be AUXERRE.
Oh, I know who that is. Auxerre. Yeah. They've been in League 1 too.
They've been in League 1 as well. Exactly.
FIFA, I know.
I think they have like a green and black.
Yeah. So he says Auxerre is interested. And I was like, okay. But I have to figure out how I'm able to leave my team to go. So then I asked him, are they going to buy me? Okay, like what's going to happen? He said, from what the sporting director told me, he wants you to come to preseason. So that's not a guarantee. It's not a contract. It's not, but it is Europe. And it's like, my head is pounding like, what am I going to do? That's like, and he says, my friend, you come here and you make it. He says, next thing you know, 1-2 years, you in League 1. And next thing you know, like your career is like, so like, I'm thinking about that. And at that time, I'm like 25. And I'm like, I don't want to wait till I'm too old and not know what it is or have the experience to have gone to Europe. I don't want to spend my career and say, okay,
what would have been?
What would have been?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like I said, I've made a couple of decisions already in my life, and I'm like I'm not scared at this point anymore. Yeah. And I was at a point where I was responsible. Yeah, I was making good money. I was saving my money. I wasn't spending it, and I was like, okay, like I want to try this. So then I talked to my agent in Vietnam, and we go to the team, and we go to the board. We're like, okay, it's mid-season. Are you guys able to find a new player? Ash would like to leave. And they're like, what do you mean he would like to leave? They're like, no, he's not going to leave. Like, how are we going to replace him? First of all, we're only allowed 2 foreigners. He's only if he leaves, and then we're left with 1. What are we going to do? So as I'm trying to figure out, like, there's also a lot of corruption in Asia and stuff like that. And there's maybe some things I can't mention, but yeah. But
sure, not that's where it's being named.
No. But long story short, they try to find a way around it to allow me to leave, but then I had to pay them money to allow me to leave.
To break the contract.
Yeah, it's like, but it's not a legal thing. It's like it could be a mutual agreement and we're good. They don't have to pay me anymore. I don't owe them anything because I played for whatever money I've had made. I played for it.
Yeah.
So that was the sporting director at that time who is literally saying, okay, you need to pay us $18,000 for me to let you leave. That's basically money I already know that's going to go in his pocket. But at that time, I'm like, okay, I want to maybe
You gotta
do
get
this.
out of here. Yeah, yeah.
So we negotiated. I ended up giving him $12,000,
Okay.
and he gave me my papers. But that process took a long time. Let me be clear. Preseason and France at that time when they tried to invite me was going to start at in June 2018, I believe. June, I can't remember. Oh no, that was before that. June 2017. And that's when we just finished our first half of the season. So we have like a 2-week break, and then we're going to start again, a 1-week training, and then start again for the second half of the season. Because at that point we played 12 games, okay? And the team keeps contacting the agent and friends like, okay, where's your player? We're waiting. Where's your player? Mm-hmm. His player can't leave because I can't get a release. I can't leave yet. Until they're like, okay, yeah, we'll let you leave, but until we find a player. And then they're like, okay, well, you got to pay this amount. But we still have to find a player. It's like, so they made me wait. I'm like, okay, at this point, I don't know what I'm going to do. And at that time, I've never played in Europe, and I'm not aware. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I just know this guy. I feel like I trust him.
Yep.
He wants me to come. Like, that's a big team that's interested in me. Like, I need to do that. When he sent my stuff or gave my stuff to a couple people, there's another team called Cholet. They were in the third league, which in France is also a very good level. And they were interested in me, but he was not replying to them because the second league team was interested in me. So, you know what I mean?
Right,
So
yeah.
now things go by, I get my release, and then I told him, hey, everything's good. I'm coming. The next day, I was on a flight straight to Paris. And when I got to Paris, he's like, okay, give me the info. He's like, when you get to Paris, here's what you're going to do, blah, blah, blah. Because he lived a little bit further from Paris. Even though, like, France is not that big, but people in France, like here when you drive 3 hours, for people in France, it's like so many hours because, like, from that you can go to 3 different freaking cities. You know?
Right.
And he said, you're going to take a train from Paris. You're going to go to this town. That's where I live. And then we'll go from there. But he was withholding information. What information he was withholding at that time? It was getting super late. And the team was just like, at that point, just like upset. Like, okay, so this whole time you say this player is going to come. And he's not there. But I think he should have done a better job of explaining to them how much we're struggling to get me out of that contract. Because if I were an agent, I would say, hey, you're trying to get this player, or you want to see him, and he's in season, and you're not buying him. So you need to understand.
You got to understand. What's going on here, man.
What's going on. So if I were an agent, that would be my conversation to try to buy as much time as possible. So apparently when I got there, and he told me, he shows me the messages, so which is I see it's true. He showed me the emails. He showed me the actual messages, the voicemails he got, and all that stuff. So it was real. It was not like fake. But by the time I got there, they were not like replying to him anymore. Like they were not in communication with him anymore. So, but before I went to France, the guy was playing with the Nigerian guy. His name is Oseni. Like I said, he's been there for a while, and he's like, bro, if you go there, like, you're making really good money here. He's like, you're not going to make that money in Europe right now unless you're, like, going, like, Division 1 or, like, a top team, like, where, like, okay, they're going to pay you a lot of money. Right. And I was at that point, I was like, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Why? Because, like, I'm getting older, and I do not want to look back and say, damn, why did I never try to go to Europe? Like, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I've already had my experience being around the MLS guys, and I've seen how it is. Like, I'm watching European games. I'm like, I want to play in Europe. Like, so my friend is talking to me. He's like, yeah, you should do it. But at that time, he cannot make a team. The agent brought him in, but he cannot make a team because it's so hard. You know, like, you may be good, but it's hard, man. Like, you have friends, like, you have so many athletic guys, like, it's crazy. Like, fast guys all over the place. It's like you have to stand out if you go there.
Yeah.
So I get there and things are complicated, and I'm not really worried because at that point I have money in my pocket. Like I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? I kind of spent a similar year the year before where I was making decent money, and then I went to the U.S. trying, and I wasn't really making money like that, and then I still had money to take care of myself and be able to be fine. So in that point after the Vietnam contract, I was making even more. So I was fine like financially, but I'm trying to find the door to really break through with my career, because at that point now, like when I was a kid, I wasn't having that dream, but as I'm older and I'm experienced, I'm like, oh, that's my dream. Like, I want to play in the Champions League. I want to do that. Like it's now looking back at it, you see how it's a privilege when players do get in. Like it's like the elite few that get those opportunities, and you have to be grateful. And that's why like I'm still in love with the game, and I stay hungry because no matter how my career have gone, I've learned so much, and I feel like I can pass that on to my kids. Now I know, like I didn't have someone in front of me to like trace that path for me, but now I've had so many experiences and seen so many different things where I've learned so much, and like, okay, maybe I wouldn't do that anymore, but I have no regrets, and I am where I'm at, and it is what it is. I'm just grateful, man. So to finish that story, I get to France and it's a struggle. Now 2 weeks pass and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Where are the teams? What's going on? Like I left and I showed him everything. This is what happened. I left this. This is how much I was making. Like, can I get that here? And in France, there's so many rules. Like, not only for foreigners, but they have the UNFP, Union des Footballeurs Professionnels. It's just like the CBA for here. There's also one in France that when I signed for a team over there as a foreigner, I have to be making at least 75% of what I was making over there. So that means whatever team was going to sign me would have to match.
And you were making a good amount too.
And I was making a good amount.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a challenge because if I'm signing for Auxerre, they can pay that. That's not a problem. But now since Auxerre wasn't in contact anymore,
can't pay that. Yeah.
Now the third league team who had just gotten promoted, my agent. He's not my agent because we didn't sign anything, but he's the agent first that really wanted to. I'm sure once we had a contract in front of us, he would have had me sign something for him for sure. So he calls that team now. He's like, you know what? I'm going to call this. It's a third league team, but the level's good. At that time, I'm upset. I'm like, what? I'm playing first division in Asia, and then you're going to have me come here and playing third division. Like, you should have told me this or should have told me that. Mm-hmm. But when I get there to train with that, first of all, he calls the coach and he told him, Ash is here. And they're like, no, you're playing Ash? The Ash? It's like, yeah, because they had been scouting me to try to recruit me. And they're like, yeah, we want this player. But he wasn't really talking to them because, like I said, Auxerre was interesting. Yeah. So when he called them and told them Ash is in France, they couldn't believe it. I swear the next day they sent me a ticket to go to them. They're like, okay, can he come and at least like train with us for 3 days? The team is, season has already started at that point. So it's not preseason anymore. Season has already started. And he's, the coach is like, we'll see him. We'll take a look at him for 3 days to make sure. Cause I mean, like what happened? Like, cause
no, they want to make sure it's
true. They want to make sure it's true. Exactly. And to be fair, when I got there, I was like, oh damn, the level's good. I almost wanted to compare it to when I was training with the Sounders, just by difference, a couple guys, right? Mm-hmm. Sounders had a couple guys who were like elite, like,
right.
And there was like, it's like, damn, like that level right there, the third in France is like, it's about the same. Wow. And I would go to games, and I was like, okay, it's interesting. Okay, I wouldn't mind. And he's like, he goes fast. Here, you play good, and you can go. So now they go to the logistics. After 3 days, the coach like, 100%, we want to sign him. So now I'm like, okay, here's an opportunity. Third league in France, it's Europe, it's different than what I was used to. So maybe something can come out of that, Right. As I'm waiting, I get a call from the agent. At that time, I'm not staying at his house. I'm staying at a hotel, which I'm paying, by the way. And like it just keeps going. Like that's money going.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap. Yeah. So he tells me, okay, they have a block right now because they want to sign you, but this is how much they would have to pay, and also in taxes to sign you. And the coach he's saying he's gonna do everything to make that happen. The sporting director is saying they don't think they have the money to make it happen.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, did I make the right decision coming here? Like, what's happening? What's going on? And at that time, I'm like, I can't go back to where I was because I already burned that bridge. Maybe I can go to another team, but should I now give myself a time frame to stay in Europe and see how that goes, and then,
Yeah.
So I made the decision. I said, you know what? Okay, I will give myself 2 years in France, see where I can land, and if that doesn't work out for me within that 2 year period, then I'm gonna go back to Asia or come to the US. So I stayed. So I got there in August. End of July, almost like a week before August, and I finally signed for a team in the next transfer window, which is in January. So I spent the next 4 months without the team and staying in a hotel.
Oh my god,
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's like I'm just losing money, but
Yeah.
I'm trying to train. I train with the agent. I go running all the time, and then in January I signed for a League 4 team. So that's where I'm at now. Now I'm in a 4th league team.
Right.
They in France, however, there is promotion and relegation. Now that team really needed help, and they needed to stay in that level. They needed to not go down because they had a good season the year before, and the coach left to a new team and took almost all the good players. So they were in rebuild mode,
Right.
and they were doing bad for the first half of the season. And like I'm telling you, I'm signing in January, so now that's the second half of the season over
Right.
there.
Right. Right.
So I signed, and the coach was like, "This is our objective. We're not trying to go up or whatever. We want to stay in the same league." And I played for the first 6 games. I scored in every single game. Interesting. I scored in every single game. And at the end of the season, we didn't get relegated, and it was great. So I know over there, the president till this day he calls me to see how I'm doing. Now he knows he's not gonna call me to go there because he knows there's a certain amount of money he'd need to pay me, and also he had to do my contract properly because since they didn't do it properly, there's a certain for my work permit. I couldn't get a work permit to play it because I'm a foreigner over there.
Yeah. It's
So
a lot
I have-
different.
and It's a lot different. So I
Right.
have to get the work permit and everything like that.
So just in the interest of time, because I know you have to,
Yeah.
you didn't want to. And
No, it's fine.
We have some
Yeah.
time constraints, I think. And we could sit here for 5. I feel like every
I
time
see,
we do this, we
yeah,
could sit here for
yeah.
5 hours.
Everyone's story is so interesting.
It's
They
so,
can go on
I
forever.
literally could. I'm sure literally
Yeah.
another 3 hours. But just for the interest of time,
Yeah.
let's fast forward a little bit, right? So I know a lot.
Yeah, of course.
Between there and where we are now.
Right.
But just to keep it maybe, unless Danny, did you have anything in between there?
No, not really. No.
Okay, so we come. Unless
So-
you have something big,
No,
like
it's not very big, but because I was basically almost done. So I stayed there for about those 2 years. That team, I played for them, helped them stay in the league. Now I'm looking and trying to open doors. Now I'm also getting older, so it's getting harder.
How old are
as
you now
well.
at that point?
26.
Okay, so not too
-ish.
old,
Yeah,
but
not
old
too
in soccer, yeah.
Older, yeah, 26, 20, yeah, closer to 27. And then at that point, I signed for another team in the east of France called Mulhouse, FC Mulhouse, which is they used to be also in League 1 and League 2, but they had been relegated. And also in France, there's something called financial relegation. So it's when a team doesn't have enough funds to be in the level they're at. And because before every season, they do a review of their finances. And if they can afford to be in that league, then they relegate them to whatever league is relevant. It's so hard. Yeah. It's tough. So they had been financially relegated, and now they're trying to build and bring the team back up to a level where because it's a big city and they have a pro hockey team, a pro volleyball team, and a pro soccer team. But the soccer team needed to get back to the other levels because the volleyball and the hockey were first division, and the
third or
soccer
fourth.
was,
Yeah.
So it's they wanted to get back up. So I went there. I played for them. Honestly, it was not a great season for me. I was hurt a lot. I had an ankle problem at that time. I played 8 games that season, and after that I was like, okay, yeah, I need to revisit, rethink what's going on. And it was the first time I had a lot of fun outside of soccer because I wasn't playing a lot, but I was living in a spot where I was 20 minutes away from Switzerland and 20 minutes away from Germany. So I could have breakfast where I'm at, lunch in Switzerland, dinner in Germany. So
That is
That's crazy.
yeah. So it was
Your
amazing.
passport got a lot of stamps.
Yeah,
back
oh
then.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know that song Drake running out of pages in your passport. That was me. Like, I had to get a new passport. I had to get the big one, the 52 pages one. Anyways, fast and forward, and I'm like, okay, I think I've made peace with it. Like, I see how it is. I know if I'm in the right environment, in the right team, I can get a shot at maybe playing League 1 or League 2 in France. But at this point where I'm not giving up, but I think it's probably best for me to look elsewhere. And now I had close people that were close to me, and they were telling me, we believe like there's so many things you could have done, but we feel like you needed the right agent or the right connection or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but I have to do what's best for me. So I don't know what would happen if I stayed in the third year, but I was like, yeah, this is enough. I decided to come back to the U.S. Now, I have a good amount of experience, and I've done so many things, and I'm like, I played under pressure. I played in front of 30, 40,000 people. I played in packed stadium. Like, they go crazy over there. And I'm like, I played as a foreigner in a country that I don't know the language.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I come back to the U.S., it's just going to be easy. And to now see how you kind of learn to appreciate like what you have and the opportunities you get, because now I'm coming to the U.S. and connected to an agent through Edson Buttle, who used to play for the U.S. national team. And he connected me with an agent, and I started talking to him. And now that agent's like, yeah, you can play here. I'm going to give you stuff to a couple teams. So he gives things to a couple teams and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, my friend, nothing. We don't get any offers. We don't get anything.
Really?
Some teams like, yeah, maybe the thing is that's when I'm learning more about the game, because here's what happened. Yeah, I've done well for myself because I know I have like I was able to, play at a level I felt like it was a good level. I was able to make good amount of money to help my family, be able to buy a house or buy things I needed. So in that aspect, I felt like I was good. In the footballing aspect, I felt like I wanted more. Does that make sense? Because when you go for thinking about playing in League 1 in France to, not really being able to achieve that and like thinking, okay, I'm going to go back to the U.S. and see what I can achieve with that. And you go from that mindset and to see where are you going to land, to think about where you're going to land, not knowing what's going to happen, and then to not figuring out, when teams are building their rosters, they get thousands of agents sending them stuff and sending them players. So, to be honest, it is hard when you send something for a team to a team. They can look at it like, okay, interesting, but like they may not follow up, or you don't follow up, or something like that. So it's not easy to just get straight up signing unless you're like they were following you and you like straight up baller, like they're like, okay, right away, because the teams here weren't following me. My season is already done and stuff like that, and they see some of my stuff when I was in Asia and stuff like that. They're like, okay, that was a couple of years ago. It's like, that's the analogy.
Right.
What can he do now?
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
So, my agent has sent my stuff to many clubs, even USL Championships, some MLS teams and stuff like that. And I went to California to visit some family. And as I was in California, I was talking to a team in League 3 in Germany, which is, they also pay good money. In Germany, the first three leagues, like the first two leagues, obviously, Bundesliga 1 and 2, they pay a lot of money. Third league also pay a lot of money. So it's like, and it's a really good level in Germany. And I was like ready to go. And I was like 2020, I was like ready to go to Germany. Corona. Corona hits, boom. But Germany, in Europe, they had already gotten ahead of it since 2019, the end of 2019. So the borders are already closing and stuff like that. It's like the U.S. that did everything later.
We did in March 2020. Yeah.
2020, exactly. So it's like when we realized everything, we had to catch up. Yeah. So I'll tell you that story because that's where I'm at. Anyways, before that, I was going to Germany. I knew I was going to go inside for that team, but I couldn't get into Germany because of the COVID stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's complicated. What's going to happen? So as I'm waiting to try to figure it out, I call Sacramento Republic, and I'm like, hey, this is who I am. I'm here. Like, would there be an opportunity for me? At that point, I'm taking things in my own hand and not just relying on the agent, because I know also an agent, he has so many players that he has to, you know what I mean? You have to kind of think about yourself. I'm like, let me just give him a call, see what happens. So I called them, and whoever answered me, he listened to what I had to say, and he said, hey, you know, we have an open tryout coming up. Here's the link or the website. You can go to it, and you can sign up. And I'm like, open tryout? I said, okay, thank you. So when I hung up, we finished the conversation, and I'm like, so then I look at what the hell is the open tryout? I had never done one of these before. I don't know what that is, and it's like where a group of players, like wherever they come from, they come in. It's like they're not invited, but you pay, and then to go in the team.
Like 2 or 3 of them have a shot to make the job.
And it's like that. And then I was like, okay. Yeah, let's do that. I'm not doing anything right now. I looked it up. I think it was $185 at the time. I paid the fee, and I booked a hotel like close to wherever they give the information. So then I'm like, okay, this is an open trial. Let's go. So I get there. Oh my God, so many players. I'm like, what is going on? I'm telling you, this is the first time I'm doing something like that. So many people, but I see at that point I'm a seasoned player. I played so many games. I'm not scared of there's so many players, but I'm like, how this is gonna work, you know? So they break the first session. They break it up. Like we're playing 7v7, and then the evening session we're doing 11s, you know. Right. And then the morning session, you know, I'm playing my normal position as an attacker, like winger and stuff like that. And I'm telling you, I'm enjoying it, like, cause you know, this is football. I'm killing it. Like honestly, I'm killing it. And then the afternoon comes. First, there's one coach who approached me. He was a goalkeeper coach at the time. He's from France, and I was wearing a kit from French Cup, the Coupe de France. And the French Cup is very prestigious in France. It's like, you know, they take it really seriously. And he's like, "Oh, where'd you get that shirt?" I'm like, "Oh, I played in France." And he's like, "For what team I played?" I said, "The last team I was with is Mulhouse." He's like, "What? I played for Mulhouse." And it's crazy. He played in Mulhouse back when they were in like League 2 and stuff like that. And he knows the team, and so it's like interesting. All right. So anyways, I was always watching, and they were always taking notes because they give you a number, and they always taking notes whenever a player does something good, and then now they're gonna split into teams. So as I get in the afternoon, now we're gonna play 11v11. I'm ready. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna score some goals right now, and then this is what it's gonna be. I get there. They give the lineup. Like each team has a coach, and then the coach gives the lineup. And then he's like, okay. He puts the first team that's playing, he gives their name. And then the second team that gets there, he gives their name. And we're the afternoon session. So everybody else had played, and we're the last game. And apparently they said that's the most important game. That's where like the best players that's selected will play this game. And he gives the first team out. Now we're in the second team. He's giving the names out. We go, okay. Left foot. He starts up top. Striker, this guy. Left winger, this guy. Right winger, that guy. 10, that guy. Midfield, that guy. I don't hear my name. Like, what the heck? Then he goes, right back, this guy. Center back, this guy. Center back, this guy. Left back, me. So then I'm like, hey, I think that's a mistake. So I go to him, and I said, no, I think that's a mistake. You put me at left back. I'm like, no, I'm a striker. And then I'm like, if you want to see somebody, you want them to be at their best position. Yeah. And I'm like, I've never played left back, and I mean, I played a little bit at Seattle Sounders, like when I had to at training. And then the coach, the French guy, he came down to me. He's like, hey, we really like you, but right now, the one position we're looking for is a left back. And he says, with your pace, your ability with the ball, and you play left winger, we think you can learn to play left back. And that's something that happens a lot in the modern game. They convert wingers into outside backs. And he said, we can think you can be a good left back. But it's not the first time I had heard that, because when I was at Seattle Sounders, especially when I was training in their sound, Jimmy Traore, who used to play for Liverpool and had won the Champions League with them, he was there, and he pulled me in one day. He's like, you've ever thought about playing left back? I'm like, not really. I mean, the first time I played is right here at training. He's like, if you spend 1 year learning that position, he said you can be world class. That's literally what he told me. That's literally. I've been coming from that guy who had won the Champions League and played at the highest level. Like it meant a lot. But at that time, I'm a goal-oriented goal scorer. You know, my head is assist goals. I'm not thinking about left back. I'm like, what defense? Like, anyways, so once the coach came down and told me that, like, that's what we're looking for, and we think you can play it, I was like, oh, it's you guys that I thought it was a mistake. I'm like, okay, then fine, I'll do it. And I'm telling you, man, it was too easy. Like I balled out because when you're playing up front, it's like it's hard because like you have to make so many runs and you a lot of time playing back to goal. But there you receive the ball, everything's in front of you. I was like playing balls, easy. So
Alfonso Davies.
So
that's a pretty big club too in USL. That's a sweet crowd.
Exactly. So while I'm over there, after that day, they're like, okay, they bring the group together. Thank you everybody for coming. We're gonna be in touch via email, whatever. And then everybody was leaving, and then the head coach, which was Mark Briggs at the time, he pulled me aside and he said, "Hey, we really like you, and we'd like to officially invite you to preseason, but we will be in. You have an agent." And I'm like, yes, I do. This is his name. He said, we'll be in contact with your agent. And then right away after I'm done, I call my agent. I'm like, this is what happened. He's like, I cannot believe it. I send these guys your stuff like so many times, and they never considered it. And which made me realize something. Sometimes it's like you have to be in front of somebody's face.
Well, think about your story. Like every time you were just like in the right place
at the right. Yeah.
Anyway, so that happens.
That happens. Mm-hmm. So like right before preseason, they give me a contract, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. So that's great. Now I can go back and enjoy it and doing what I love, you know. And it was a big story in Sacramento, even in the championship. So for them, they're like, oh my God, this guy came out of nowhere. And it's a big story for them because I was the only one guy that signed from the open trial, one, and. Yeah, like if you go on their like story or whatever, like it was like on Fox 40, and like they were like, I was getting like blown up by like interviews and things like that. And then my friends called me and they're like, why they making a big deal? There's like, you've been there, man. You've been there, done that. Like, but for them, it's like for them, it's like you came out of nowhere, or something like that. Like my friends are like, you're a seasoned pro, like. They need to be talking about you differently. But for me, at that time, I was just excited and happy, you know, that I played for them, and I got selected. And then as we started preseason, boom, the COVID stuff started. So we were supposed to start the season in March. We played the first game March 7th, I remember, against Tulsa. And right after that game, we had to have a pause for like 2 or 3 months until they figured out what they were going to do for soccer. And then we ended up, instead of playing a full season, they switched it into divisions where you play like 4 or 5 teams per division, and the top 2 go to playoffs. And we played 17 games instead of like 30,
whatever it is now. Yeah.
So I ended up, you know, playing like all the games, and like coming in as a guy from Open China and then starting and playing like all the games. It was crazy, and people were like impressed. They were about for me, I already knew, like, I've already done that. But it was a learning curve, too, because I was playing a position that I had never played. Right. So I had to learn a couple things, like, tactically and stuff like that. But I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I was playing. I was doing what I love. And that was that. So the other step after this, which was my biggest boom in my career, was the national team.
Haiti. Yeah.
Haiti. So since 2015... I was like knocking on the door to play for the national team. You know, I mean, it's very competitive because we have players who are playing at, you know, good levels and stuff like that. And for the Caribbean, Haiti is a pretty good team. And I was like, what is realistic? I was born here, yes, but if I'm not playing at a top level or in the MLS or like overseas, then there's a chance of me playing for the U.S. I don't really see it. So I was like, and I am eligible to play for Haiti with my parents and stuff, so I should maybe go that route. So I kept knocking the door. Like, I talked to people and whatever, and it was the opportunity was just never there. And until I signed for Sacramento and started playing left back. It's crazy. So now I'm telling you, I am 29 years old, and I'm getting my first national team call up at a World Cup qualifier in Haiti against Belize. It's like the most surreal moment of my life. I could never believe that would happen. And when you think like it's over, like you see the story of what's the guy who played for the striker who played for Leicester City?
Jamie Vardy.
Jimmy Vardy. Like his story is just like so inspiring, so crazy. Like he was playing lower leagues, like scoring goals, but never really until he was older and got a shot and they freaking kill it. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like I seen and heard things like that, but never saw it really for myself. But isn't even at the time where most people would think, yeah, you wouldn't be able to do this. I get the opportunity and it happened. And I'm telling you, that it was the most emotional moment after I got called, and I got a call from a number, and I pick it up. They're like, hey, it's the coach from Haiti. We want to formally invite you to camp, and you'll be selected for the national team to play against Belize.
To represent your country.
So what, they fly you out and everything? Like,
oh, yeah, and the other thing with the national team is whenever you get called up, you get so much money.
you get so extra bonus.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's
especially
really
for probably a
big
World Cup
perks,
qualifier.
Yeah. Really,
that's
really
awesome.
big.
You guys won that game, right?
We
2-0?
won that game 2-0. Yeah. I started. It was my very first game, and I'm telling you, that is a moment I never forget. When, because my dad at this point has not seen me play a game in person, and he was still in Haiti. So this was the first time that my dad got to be in person to watch me play in what it is, a game for the national team, for the country.
Yeah. He's like, you're a point guard to now you're on the left.
Yes, and it's crazy because like when we were together and when he was making fun of me, everybody's telling him, what, your son doesn't play, and he's like, and I told him, I made him promise. I said, I will achieve more than you did in soccer, and I will be better than you. That's what I was to tell my dad.
Wow.
And then to him getting to go and watch me to play for the national team and debut, and it's
I got a question for this off topic. Do you think, because I mess with him sometimes about the Jamaican team, do you think Haiti would beat the Serbian national team?
It's a serious with our full squad. Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. Because we actually listen. You may disagree. You may disagree. Right now, we may be in like a period of instability, but man, we have so many balls. I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, in 2015, I believe, we lost 2-1 to Spain. Full Spain with Iniesta, Xavi, Fabregas, all those players.
Wow.
2-1. Okay, we tied 3-3 with Italy, with all the players like Balotelli, like all the big guys.
Crazy, huh?
And I mean, I will show you guys the links to those games. Yeah. We did lose 4-0 to Argentina, which Argentina just with Messi in 2015. But yeah,
all right, cool. Sorry to go off topic.
Yeah, but no, that's a fair question. I think at that stage, if we have our full all the good players, it will not be like a walkover like you might think it would.
No, I don't think it's walkover. I just think we'd win.
You have to ask a clip type of question. Who would win, Haiti or Jamaica?
Oh yeah, of course. We talked about this. So we just played recently.
Yeah.
We were winning 2-0 against Jamaica, and we ended up tying that game 2-2.
Okay. All right.
But no. I'm saying
all right.
Because in the locker room, Andre Lewis, he's my teammate, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna kill you guys.
Okay.
We're gonna kill you guys." And I told him, "Watch, this is not gonna happen. Haiti has a good team." And I'm like, we just called some young ballers. Like, there's one kid, Ditson. He's playing in Denmark at first division, and he's really good. Balled out, scored 2 goals in the first 20 minutes. So scored 2 goals against Germany, and then I'm calling my Jamaican friends. I'm like, "Hey, you guys watching?" And then we got super unlucky, and then they ended up tying the game.
Liam Bailey.
Yeah,
he's good. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, did he score 1 goal?
I don't remember.
Does he play for Aston Villa?
Yeah.
He just scored
You got to ask him about that little comeback.
They
That
also
gonna come
had
on
their
this
full squad. They
podcast.
had Leon Bailey. They had
my boy Damian Lowe.
Damian Lowe,
Damian
center
Lowe.
back. Yeah, they had everybody.
Andre
Like,
Blake.
they had
Andre-
the
my other
striker
boy,
that
Andre
plays
Blake.
for
Michael Antonio.
Antonio. They had everybody.
Yeah.
Antonio's. I thought he was Italian or something. He plays for me.
Get out of here.
The bulky
The
guy.
bulky
He
guy,
played for,
yeah.
like
West
West
Ham.
Ham or
West
something.
Ham, yeah. He's
All right. So
Jamaican.
in rapping,
Jackson.
Yeah.
Now he's at Hartford.
All right, so now you come to Hartford Athletic. I
come
know
to
obviously
Hartford Athletic, yeah.
this past season wasn't great,
Wasn't great.
but how do you like the team? Compare it maybe to some other U.S. stops you've been to in terms of the crowd and kind of just your experience.
Yeah, so I'd say my experience in the USL Championships so far, it's been great because then I got to learn. Now I know like everything that I really need to know about soccer, the ins and outs. I've been through so many things. I can see what the level is in USA, and I remember when I was in Europe, they would make fun of me. They'd be like, "Oh, it's the first American we see that has a good touch," or something like that. They would always make fun of America, like that soccer's not good here. But then when I came here, I actually realized that is not necessarily true. We have a lot of good players here, and if there's really investment in like the lower leagues and also the academies, like there is big potential for
A lot of people, man, 350 million people.
Exactly. With that pool of people you have, you're supposed to have like
One of the best teams.
exactly.
So,
So I think eventually that's another topic, but I think that will eventually change for America, and I feel like right now they do have a decent team, and I feel like soccer will keep changing in the U.S., especially even during and after the World Cup that's coming in 2026. That's going to be big time.
Oh yeah.
can't wait for
Sure.
that.
Yeah.
That's soon, guys.
Yeah, that's soon.
2 years.
And qualifiers are coming up soon as well.
Euros this
so-
summer too, right? Euros.
Yep. So
Awesome.
I'm excited for that. But yeah, I've had a good experience and had more respect for like the game in general, because like I feel like in my career I've been there and been there and been there. So it's like it helped me appreciate all the little things, and like I said, my experience in Asia, first of all, made me a very welcoming guy. Like every team I'm in, I make sure like I get along with everybody. Like more of a like guy that brings everybody together, and not like a troublemaker or whatever.
disruptor.
Yeah, a disruptor. So I could say I'm proud of that. But yeah, it's just my upbringing and what I've experienced in my life. So I think the league is growing and it's good. And one of my main things after I'm done playing, like I'm going to do my coaching license soon, and I want to stay in the game because like I said, I've fallen in love with it and want to stay in that. I found my niche and want to keep that after I'm
We
done
might have a
playing,
spot
so.
for you here at the KO League developmental program. But just, I've always been curious. So Hartford Athletic, we've been to games, but we have a great
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And the league is cool now. You can
Yeah.
watch on ESPN. It's awesome. They don't, and I don't know if this is just by team, but you get paid a contract. The money's not like late and stuff like
No,
other places, right? It's like official.
You don't have any money problems in the US. The only thing I'd say is obviously before, just like as the MLS, if you look at the MLS 10 years from now, it's 10 years ago, it's not the same.
No.
And you'll look at it maybe 10, 15 years from now, it'll be completely different. So it's the same. So the leagues, they grow, they evolve, and every year you do something, you learn from it, you try to do better. So the league is at a really good place right now.
Awesome.
We find like in the last couple of years, we came up with a CBA that allows for better working conditions for players, because before in the league, players were signing for peanuts or for free,
Right.
For like $500 a month. Like that's like not acceptable
do-
really for a
do-
professional league.
Do they help you with like housing and meals? Or
So now it's like the standard, if you sign for a team, every team will offer you housing. Now every team is different. Some team have a nice complex that they can put players, but there's always a stipend. That means if you want to live on your own and they have like a couple houses or apartments that you don't want to live in with other players, like let's say a guy that is married and have kids, like you're not going to stay with other single guys.
Right.
Like obviously you want your own space, so they give you a stipend and you get whatever.
help pay towards like the rent or
Whatever
mortgage.
rent,
or
yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Awesome. So that's great. That's
yeah,
nice.
so it's good. And obviously there's a pool. Like some players make more than others. The more experienced players, they make more. Some new players, they have like flex contract. They now even have a new thing. It's called 25-day contracts, so that they might have too many injuries, and the league allows them to sign a player for 25 days. Now, if that player comes in and does great, then they can sign him to a long-term contract and
awesome.
stuff like that. So it's like
good.
they allow them to have like trial period for players, which I think is a good thing for some players, because there's a lot of players in the US. That's why I feel like when I went to Germany, I'm like, man, there's so many leagues. Like you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like
Right.
here, I feel like it should be like that, because there's so many players, and that will open more opportunities. That's why I was excited. Like when I saw, like obviously the League One it got in the league League One started. I don't know what year, but it started after the championship. Obviously, they integrated it as a pro league.
Oh
And
yeah,
when
yeah,
the League One came, that opened more doors.
Yeah.
And then when the NASL left, because NASL was competing with the MLS at some point, and now the NASL is not anymore. They started this new league called NISA, and it's also a pro league, so that gives other opportunities for players like
to
out
get
of
a
college
spot.
and to get a spot and to play and to make some money playing. So I think, like I said, the States is growing soccer wise. I'm just excited to see where it's going to be. Like, even I say, if it's not for me, then for my kids, you know. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So I know you're gonna move on from the Hartford Athletics, so we'll see kind of where you land, and
Yeah.
and best luck with that. But
thank you.
I don't know if you guys had any questions. This was great.
He nailed it. He said, "Well, because I know he's going to stay in the game forever." So he said it already. He's going to
Yeah.
get his coaching license. He's going to be a coach, and maybe he comes back here.
For
He's
sure.
gonna come sign for KO Elites.
But just in wrapping, I will say it's kind of like it's not a sad story. I guess from a footballing perspective, maybe it's a little bit sad because
Right,
but you
yeah.
lived a great life, man,
I
and you got
did.
to do so many things
I
that
did.
no one gets to do.
Yeah.
So it's a lesson. We always try to take something away from these. A little lesson from everyone. I guess just don't be too comfortable places if you think you can do more.
That's true.
Okay.
And
That's it.
I've met a lot of players who, like I say, is one of the reasons I'm grateful, because I see so many players. They're really good, but they don't love the game as
Yeah.
much. They don't have the passion. They don't have the hunger, and they just either retire early or they're like, yeah, I'm done with it. It's
Change.
sad to me because I'm the complete opposite. And some guys, I would go to places and the guy's like, you're a pro player. What are you doing here? I'm like, dude, I love the game. I'm gonna play. Like,
Yeah.
Right,
so that is just that's just how I am, and I learned to love and appreciate the game and enjoy every single bit of moment, because I know I can't do it forever. So yeah, there you go.
I'm really glad you brought that up too. That's why I'm on this podcast. It's just, like you said, there's players out there that have the talent, but they just don't love the game.
Love the
They
game,
need to know what it means to love the game.
I don't love it
That's
anymore.
why these episodes are so good.
Yes. So we don't have time to play this game, do we? No.
What's it
Okay.
at?
It's a short game.
I
Five
don't
questions.
I know Pops has the question.
5 questions. It's gonna
Go
be
ahead.
quick fire. We don't have to play this other one. Okay. So this is a game just to know you a little bit more.
Okay.
All right. So let's go right into it. So what is Ash's favorite food and drink?
Okay, favorite food would be a Haitian dish called diriasokswa. It's like rice and beans, with vegetables. So
Research that, Danny.
I'll research that. Definitely.
I can't even spell it.
Shout out, shout out, Haiti.
yeah.
What's your favorite movie?
I like action movies. I think I like the Fast and Furious movies. Like they've gone strong for a long time. Even there's a lot of fiction in it, but I do kind of that and like plot twisters. I watched a movie recently called The Invisible Guest, and that really got me thinking. It was really kind of horror movie, but yeah, one of my favorite movies.
Danny's favorite movie is My Little Pony. What is your favorite song?
Oh man, I love music. I actually also play music, and it's hard for you to ask me what my favorite song
Oh,
is.
you got too much. Top 3.
What
But
about
I'd say-
pre-game song?
Huh?
Ooh,
Pre-game song?
Right before a
Yeah.
game, if you
Oh
have
my
to play
God.
one song.
You definitely have a go-to.
Yeah. Man, I go Eminem, bro.
Yeah.
Eminem?
I go Eminem old school. Yeah. I honestly, if I just Eminem on the playlist, that turns me up.
Just
bro.
fired up.
Fire up.
Was it Till I Collapse is the big
Nice.
one?
Till I
That's a
Collapse,
fire
yeah,
one.
that's
He's
a
got-
fire
he's got
one, yeah.
So
many.
we know that you're into fashion. Well, I know this. You're into fashion a lot.
Yeah.
Let me know what is your favorite brand and what is your favorite outfit that you have rocked.
Designer, I'd say Louis Vuitton.
Hey.
Living in France as well. But
Show
I'm
us the shoes. Show us the shoes. Put the shoes up. Put the shoes up. Put it in the camera.
those are Louboutins. They're from France as well. They we call them here red bottoms or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love those. But I try not to spend my money on designer brands or things like that. If I get it for free, then yeah. But yeah, I use my money for other things for sure. But I do like Nike a lot.
Okay.
Just off sports apparel and stuff. I do love Nike.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite team?
Team
Yes.
Pro
in
team.
the world right now.
In
the
Pro
world,
team?
yeah.
Barcelona.
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 Well, we do not have time. We were going to expose you. Should we expose you?
No.
No, we do not have time. And
Previous
probably another time we will get to expose you.
Sounds good.
But so one more thing, give us an advice that you would give to younger kids that have similar dreams and aspiration as yourself? You have 1 minute to win it. Go ahead.
All right. From all my experiences as a pro, as an amateur, and as a pro player, I would say it's your consistency. If you're really hungry for the game, you have to be consistent. And nowadays, there are so many avenues and so many opportunities to get better. What I learned, even at an older age, is you're never good enough you're never too good to not train. You're never too good for the game, because the game, it keeps evolving. There's players that are getting better and training day in and day out, so you have to be committed. If you're really hungry and really love the game, be committed, train as much as you can, and instead of spending 3-4 hours playing video games, which I still do, play video games, but now I play video games a little, like 40 an hour.
Right.
I'm always training. I make sure every day I'm touching the ball,
Yeah.
and that will honestly takes you a long way.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
So that is it, and that is time. Again, we cannot leave until we give a shout out to our sponsors. KO Elites FC, we have Nick Media, Davis Media, last but certainly not least, Oil Labs for your best fragrances known to mankind. So until then, keep watching and stay dreaming. Boom, we're out. Let me drop the mic.
Soundstripe.